This is where we want to transition from digital transformation to continuous transformation. We want to make sure that as we're focusing on this, the digital capability needs to expand. Your digital resiliency needs to get better. But you can't do that if you wait for a singular event or for that refresh period or for your next door neighbor to have an emergency to believe that you are truly adaptive, that you can be proactive instead of reactive. And I think that's really what the heart is of digital transformation initially, was about giving an organization the resources to truly be proactive in how they serve their internal users, their external users, and also the organization itself. But with digital transformation being so focused on a singular event, we have to transition to continuous transformation, which is focused on continuous activity, continuous improvement, continuous evaluation of where we're at, what we're doing, and how we can get better. That gives us the resources to expand our digital capability, as we discuss here, also our digital resiliency. That way we can put ourselves in a position where we are not scrambling every time a new regulatory standard comes out, or cyber insurance providers tell us that we need to do X, Y, and Z in order to remain compliant, or our premiums will skyrocket, or potentially will get dropped from coverage. And these are the drivers that I think for the IT leaders that we work with and for the organizational leaders that we get to interact with, those seem to be the things that are causing them a great deal of stress, in addition to budget and staffing challenges, which are affecting everybody. But these drivers, these external forces, there's always going to be an external force. We need to figure out how we put ourselves in a position where the external forces are not becoming a nightmare for us and are just becoming another thing on our to-do list, something that we can do, and that's the other challenge is we have a lot of folks we work with who have long to-do lists. And for them, it seems like many of the things on their to-do list are not impossible, but such a big lift. Continuous transformation is about making change more manageable. Instead of it being a massive lift or feeling like at times it's impossible, how do we make sure that we can cut this down to size? And for a lot of our transformation events, they can be done piecemeal. They can be done in a phased approach. They can be done piece by piece. But if you wait to get to the point where your hardware is at year 6, it's kind of hard to do a phased refresh for hardware that's at year 6. You could have started making that transition. You could have started transforming some of those resources at an earlier stage. You could have looked at some of the policy elements, some of the ways that maybe those resources getting older could have been impacting configurations as it relates to your network, the ability for policy to be enforced accurately. When you're talking about vulnerability and patch management, as those resources are getting longer in the tooth, how does that impact your ability to maintain those necessary updates? Those are all things that go into continuous transformation. And it doesn't feel like transformation because it's not big, it's not grand, it's not massive. But if that's the thing that stops you from being breached and allows your organization to avoid being taken down for a few days or a few weeks at a time, then yes, it is transformation. Yes, it is big. It doesn't have to be a massive event to have a massive impact. And that's why we want to transition from digital transformation to continuous transformation.